Welcome to this presentation on human trafficking. My name is Michael Cicino of Visible Systems, and I'll be your presenter during this next 15 minutes. During this time, we will see how situational data can be used to identify human trafficking. But before we do, say hello to Rees Key, because we will see how Rees Key actually became one of the fortunate ones in what has become a global sociological and health-related crisis. So what is the problem here that we're actually confronting? Well, we want to be able to identify victims of human trafficking, but to do that, we must be able to detect them. And just to give you an idea how big of a problem this is, the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime said it's taken on horrific dimensions. And you would never think that it would be prevalent in some of the more advanced nations around the world. But if you just take a look in the Netherlands, you'll see that there's 4 to 5 times as many victims as detected. The bottom line, we need more advanced detection systems. There's an opportunity, therefore, to identify human trafficking victims during the patient healthcare encounters. We can provide information to clinicians so that they can screen these particular potential victims. We can also connect the clinicians to real-time data in order to provide personalized emergency care to potential victims. The personalized services, they can come in many shapes and forms, including referrals to appropriate case management, referrals to teams, public health, and law authorities can be alerted, and we can take into account jurisdiction and policies and procedures that may apply to any case specifically in a way of personalizing that service. The challenge, however, is that people in these emergency rooms are already very busy and have a lot on their minds. While they're working, each and every day, new data sources, the volume of data, the velocity of data, the variety and veracity of that data continuously changes across the healthcare landscape. So how to quickly identify data at the point of care that is meaningful and personalized? That's the question. And how do we drive positive outcomes? At Visible Systems, we believe the key is not just having data available, but having it available inside your workflow. We refer to this as content in context. Visible Systems has launched a platform referred to as Visible Advantage. It delivers this content within context. And we were able to do it with a relatively small team, technical team of 6 with 4 engineers. We have a history of providing integrated solutions for building enterprise systems, managing change, and enabling business transformation. And we enable companies and institutions to embed data in every decision and action they make, no matter what the industry sector. We have solutions ranging from healthcare and pharma to distribution and logistics. And to just name a few of our customers, you can see below there, NOAA, the city of Mesa in Arizona, and Kratos is another security firm that uses our software. But how do we use Starburst Galaxy and Trino in providing content within context? Well, if you just look to the right of the slide, you'll see 3 key factors, if you will: ingestion, processing, and presentation. Working from the bottom up, you can see that we can essentially ingest pretty much any data or any type of data sources, from healthcare providers' information like the FHIR data resources, where a lot of the healthcare information on patient encounters, triage is stored, through our own data models and clinical pathways. They are the workflows that we conceptualize in our tool, or that you can conceptualize in our tool, through public data sets. For example, there's a supply chain of human trafficking data that we can access, and also personal devices. That data, therefore, gets ingested, and the middle layer is where Galaxy comes in. Galaxy enables us to connect to those distributed and disparate data sources. And then with that information, we're able, through the processing of Starburst Galaxy, that data is made available to our platform, where you, as the user, can interact and run your queries against that data, so that you can use our graphical query builder and interactively drill down on the data, discovering deeper insights as you go along. I want to just mention that this is an effort on behalf of many people: Sung Young, Michael from Visible Systems, Catherine, Allison, and Ruben from the Duke University, and Anna, Lee, and Rachel from both Tufts and the Duke University School of Nursing. In addition to that, we partnered with the BPM Plus Health community, AWS, Starburst, of course, and the UN migration databases. So how do we actually put power of content into context? Well, let's take a look. As you can see, I'll walk you through the left-hand side, but while I'm doing that, take a look at the conceptual workflow on the right. There's 6 steps. Check into an emergency room and urgent care. Triage of the medical issue and the likelihood that this person is a human trafficking victim. Administer a so-called green bomb survey if needed. The green bomb survey is instrumental in asking key questions of the patient, so that one can induce whether there's a likelihood of human trafficking. Notify appropriate community and public agencies. Provide medical assistance and ensure that the patient gets discharged into a safe environment. These 6 steps are a part of a workflow. The idea is that the workflow is conceptualized and represented in a standard by OMG called BPMN+. That standard enables computable steps in the workflow, meaning that it's automated. And it can be automated by any tool, provided that the standard is followed. So let's take a look, therefore, at what that workflow, that conceptual workflow, is translated into. And let's take a look at the step, the data, and based on the data, what's the next action that needs to be taken. So the first step, obviously, someone checks into an emergency room or urgent care. During that step, patient name, country of origin, date of birth, sex, place of employment, medical history is obtained. And with that information, there's a search that can be conducted against the global supply chain databases. And then those global supply chain databases are databases that are updated continuously across industry, sector, and country of origin. Step 2 is where we have a triage of medical issue and access to the global supply chain data, telling us the likelihood that this particular patient is a victim of human trafficking. At that point, the data that's collected is all the patient condition, stage of condition, bodily evidence, if any, diagnosis, evidence, severity, etc. If that is in fact the case, where we have a good suspicion that that is in fact the case, then the person is asked to take a survey. That's when the green bomb survey is administered in step 3. Depending on the survey results, we move to step 4. In step 4, we notify the appropriate community, public agency, social work, and community manager of this encounter. We also have data now that we've been able to aggregate across various data sources indicating the encounter, the priority, the status, class, participants, the period during which this occurred, the diagnosis. And at that point, we would understand pretty much 100% surety that, in fact, this person has been victimized. And if they have, then we can proceed with providing e-signatures over to the Case Investigation Authority and highlight the encounter. Step 5, a medical plan is developed. There you can see the data associated with that step. And the next action, where we generate a care plan and distribute that care plan to all concerned. The final step, the patient will get discharged into a safe environment. You can see that we have access to data, including that of the healthcare services that were provided, along with any specific information relative to the healthcare services. And the handoff happens at that point. Remember, we said hello to Rizki. Now, Rizki entered an emergency room, and at that point in time, it was determined that Rizki's country of origin was Indonesia. And we also understood from the analytics that Indonesia has a history of human trafficking, and in a particular sector, agricultural. So that alerted the clinicians. Rizki appeared to be suffering from insomnia, henceforth was tested for some anxiousness and depression. During the green bomb survey, it indicated that Rizki lives, works, and sleeps in the same place. So now the picture is coming together. As a result of the disparate distributed data that was aggregated at each step along the way here in the storyline, social services is called and counsels Rizki based on the insights drawn from the data. Let's give more victims like Rizki a chance. Our blessings await many others. Here, I just want to bring to your attention an organization called the Blue Heart Campaign. It's an organization that's raising funds for human trafficking. And note, if you will, the references to their website. Finally, I would make available the presentation and a copy of the slides on the technical side that would show you all of the different technical steps behind this very important use case. And also, please feel free to request a demo or even the application for that matter. There's a free app that you can pretty much run across any device or Windows platform. Thank you very much for your time.